Hey, Dime.
Hey Matt, what's up?
Hey,
No, Hell Clan, you were just asking about talking. No, I just hadn't quite started yet. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing all right. To answer, what is it? To answer Hell Clan's question, I really don't think that email still works. I don't know if any part of AOL's mail servers work anymore.
If they even still exist, but I don't know. It's like some of the old Nintendo games where you could call into the phone line and then it's not quite the same anymore.
Yeah, that was my family's first email address ever. So I don't know why we picked 400. There were four of us in our family, but I think that's as close to any kind of meaning that number had.
Yeah, I can remember back in the day with all the security examples my parents would talk about always being very safe. Don't talk to strangers. Don't do anything like this. It was kind of an exciting day to get your own email.
Yeah, yeah. And now, email is just for office communication and spam. Everybody's all instant messaging and direct messaging and that sort of thing. Sorry, I'm making so much noise on this end of the microphone. I'm opening a bottle of beer. I'm opening a big bottle here. Oh wow, that already smells amazing. What was that?
Hey, why breezy? Uh,
There we go.
I was trying out a beer earlier because I got two through like a Chinese gift exchange last Christmas, and it was like a jalapeno style of beer. But I took one sip and I couldn't handle it.
Wow, like you got a hot beer. I like beers that have like some kind of like um, chili peppers or some kind of like some kind of heat to them. I've especially if they have like cocoa in it as well. I really like I really like beers that have like a little bit of a spice now. Like I'm just branching out different kinds right now. Oh yeah, the right now the beer of the evening. Everybody's around for this. The beer of the evening is a beer by the brewery brewing company. That's spelled Bruery. Called White Chocolate, and it's an ale aged in bourbon barrels with cacao nibs and vanilla beans. So this should be interesting. It smells amazing. Uh, let's see how many. Oh God, 14.3 alcohol. Okay.
I feel like you chose that one specifically because we're doing the dimensions of time. I don't know.
I mean, I picked. I mean, it's not like oh I must drink to forget. Nah, this is well actually right now, Dimensions of Time is old enough to drink in the United States. It's at least 21 years old.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem, Rev. Glad you're excited to see this one. It's kind of like a throwback to the Evo of the WoD days, which I feel like we need to get the clan back. Mtrop, Do, Tarns, and whoever else. Even Captain Clever.
Yeah, Rot King could come along. I think. Did we mention Rot King?
Oh yeah, totally. I was listening again to his rendition of the Bloodite crypto post.
Oh man, yeah.
I might even
Oh
have it
man,
here. Just one sec. Let me find
I
this.
I have a what is it? I did a very short I forget where I posted it, probably in like one of the Doom servers, but not like at large. I made a clip of like it's I did like an impression of Shao Kahn from like the latest Mortal Kombat. Like I just pitched my voice down and stuff and added like booming bass and echo, and I just did the first two sentences of it, and it's great. Like you humor me with your arrogance and contempt, and that, yeah. So
There was a
I gotta share that with everybody.
You remember Ketchup at QuakeCon, who's doing the hosting for our speedrunning segment?
Yeah. I believe so.
Probably recall the face, but like he's like his major esports is like Quake Champions and the new Mortal Kombat's. He does like the whole Mortal Kombat series, and he retweeted, um, or he might have tweeted it out just on Twitter, but it was showing somebody who was taking out Shao Kahn with just punching because he just gets stuck in like his block animation. So he's trying to say like "you will die," and he just can't do it. He's just stuck. Okay, I got this Rock King thing here. It's the final post of Bloodite Crypto before he went missing on Doom World, and we haven't seen him since. It's been
Vanished.
he's gone.
Motherfucker just vanished.
I won't address the individual gameplay scenarios you've highlighted, as the foundation of your argument arises from jealousy. This is clear when you contrast my success and your failure. Being deluded into thinking you should have surpassed these trials, yet cannot absolutely comprehend how someone else can claim victory on a consistent basis. Instead, I will address my playing ability. You know nothing about who I am or my history with this game. I am exceptionally talented, not only at Doom, but other old-school FPS, along with video games in general. I make speedruns and partake in Iron Man out of passion for the game. It is a personal challenge in testing my ability to overcome arduous odds. I play for fun. It's about me versus the game. And I hold no strong competitive urge or desire to be known as the best. Reputation and status are not important to me, but having fun is essential.
That's too good. But that's about 10% of his post, and it just goes on and on and on. And the community just ended up like laughing blood out of the community because
it was ridiculous.
Because Zero Master,
it was in response to Zero Master calling him out completely on it, and then we get this amazing chunk of copy pasta from oh man, from Bloodite. Yeah, and yeah, he hasn't posted since. I haven't seen him at all. I don't frequent the forums very much, except to like the find a thread shit in, or perhaps dispense wisdom. But yeah, he's not. I have not seen him at all as of late.
I think he just left. You missed part. I think he did 2 parts of it, Depravity, but technically there's another one here. There's Bloodite 3 and Bloodite 4. So you just listened to 4, and this is Bloodite 3. So,
Jesus, it is. Yeah, it's what, like 8 paragraphs long.
Yeah, the last one was 1 minute and 12 seconds. This one's 47. I'll let this one play too.
You humor me greatly with your arrogance and contempt. A flood of accusations born from the poison of envy and smite of disrespect. I feel both disappointment and flattery these thoughts would originate from another player who has demonstrated one-of-a-kind talent and has accomplished the impossible, yet is apparently immune from judgment owing to their reputation. Do not think your words hold more credibility just because of who you are. Being more well known in what you have accomplished in breaking world records and setting ones never previously accomplished, such as with TNT and Plutonia Nightmare. With that being said, I will divulge my thoughts on the serious accusations you have set forth.
Rock King has just got the perfect voice for it, but Rock King can do a lot of voices, not just this one. He does some excellent ones in The Adventures of Square, and
yeah, he's the strong man.
He does.
My absolute favorite character in the entire game. I mean, not partially because I designed him and sprited him, but like I was just like, this enemy has to be a known to people. Like I want people to be absolutely afraid to hear "Tally ho."
And he does like a 10 out of 10 Duke Nukem, but I'm thinking the only time he might have been not being able to do it is he's got this photo with John St. John, and
Yeah. I want to actually use his Duke Nukem impression for a enemy we have. We're going to be putting in episode 3 of Square. It's like it kind of looks like very Duke-ish. So I'm like, fuck, let's just get Rock King to do it like his Duke impression. But we got to write some lines.
oh, heck yeah, I can't wait. So, moving on to the content that we're going to be playing on stream today. This is the Dimensions of Time. Matt Tropiano has been doing map making for over 20 years now, because you said Dimensions of Time is it's able to drink now.
It's able to drink in the United States, yes. So it's like 21 years old. It was released in, oh crap, I should know the release date. I think it was like June 15th, 1998. Let me just double check. DOT dot wad. Dimensions of Time. There it is. Oh damn, I was like 4 days off. The 11th. So it was 6 days after my birthday in 1998. So
I know.
yeah.
We could have spent that like on a burrito
There you
or
go.
something more
So yeah, it is old enough to drink in the U.S. How about that? And yeah, and I've been making stuff since like I'd say about like 1995, 1996 roughly, in terms of like Doom maps, or Doom, Heretic, whatever. So yeah, this is going back quite a ways.
It's 1995 when I was 5 years old. Yo, Trav, thanks for the sub. So let's start here on our entrance screen. Is we've got a new titles for our difficulties. So maybe you can help me to figure out what to play. We got I Am Weak and Frail. I Can Stand the Pain. Give Me What You Got. 2 words, Badass, and Hell Unleashed.
Well, I mean, UV is 2 words, badass. So if you want to play on UV, which I think is going to give you like, yeah, the best challenge because uh my gameplay balancing was I don't know, these are pretty easy on like normal and earlier. So I think what people would consider the average difficulty for at least the Doom scene nowadays would be whatever lies in 2 words, badass, for this wad. Hell Unleashed is like, nightmare, so that's unfair.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get balanced for Nightmare, but I've kind of pressed out a GZ Doom, so you haven't quite got the music, but if you showed up at the start of the stream, I think you heard it. Yeah.
Wait, are you not playing music?
No, I got music now. It's just
Okay.
GZ, if you don't have it like pressed into the program, the music just it's gone. Unlike
Oh,
like
weird.
every single other port.
Every single other what?
No, other port like in PR Boom Plus it doesn't matter, and Crispy Doom it doesn't, but it's it depends on the game too. Like I actually find Doom 3 and Doom 4 there's loads of problems with that. In just
They
even
might
getting
be
it
using-
up on the stream.
Oh, I might be using OpenAL, like the or whatever. I know that GZ Doom uses OpenAL for mixing, and I think the other Doom ports use SDL Mixer for audio. So I don't know if that's like that big a deal, but it could be like using a different like Windows driver thing for outputting audio. Who knows? I don't know. Like past the API level, I have zero idea of how sound works on different platforms. But yeah.
So down in the bottom of the screen we have a beautiful MS Paint. Looks to be Pink
Yeah,
Pistol.
it's definitely MS Paint with like a really crappy picture of a pistol there. I didn't know how graphics worked, so the colors you see were not intentional, but like I don't know. I had to figure out exactly what colors were what when I painted it. So I don't know. New status bar.
I like the asymmetrical A to the left. There's like 2 there, and then the armor
Oh,
is like fine.
Yeah, the kerning on these letters were not, like the kerning was not taken into consideration when putting the letters in these boxes. No.
So was Dimensions of Time your very first set?
No, my very first set was an episode of Heretic Maps that I made, and I think released around 1996.
Heretic Maps. It's interesting how you did Heretic before Doom, but I guess like pretty much everything had editors.
Yeah. I'm just gonna thanks Tartcore. The guy who made this WAD is a total genius. Wish I could tell him how great his WAD is.
So we're starting out with almost looks like an anime K map and just how much metal there is in it.
Yeah. Well, right now this is Blur's song number 2. You know, you remember British band Blur, headed by Damon Albarn. That's and this is like one of their more worldwide famous songs. Oh, this looks very similar to TNT Map 01 Depravity because I totally ripped that shit off completely.
Kind of
So
the
good
same
on
room
you
on
finding
the
that
left.
switch.
The except for we're missing the outside area.
Yeah, but like there's kind of like an outside area if you hit like a switch that can go outside.
Well, did you use TNT Map 1 as a base, or do you think you more like you'd seen the design after playing it and that's what you had in mind?
I'd say like it was kind of yeah, it was like half rip off, half I don't know, I really liked the layout of it. But like past like that beginning part, it looks definitely, yeah, per the readme it says if any levels look like any original ones, it's purely coincidental. Pure coincidence.
Just like this
No,
monster closet with the chain gunner.
Yeah, I will admit 21 years later that yeah, there's definitely some rip off happening. Look, I mean like one of the what is it? Not to toot my own horn here, but like one of the top 100 most memorable maps of all time, number I think 72 is For We Are Many, which is map 29, Community Chest 3. Is a map I made, and I fully admit that I'm kind of like I was kind of ripping off like Eric Alm's like later slaughter maps and like Scythe 2, even though like it has nothing to do with like the layout or anything like that, but definitely the texture use and ambiance was definitely ripped off of Scythe 2. But yeah, I always found that was like really funny. Like it becomes like memorable, and I was just like I want to see if I can make a slaughter map that was, you know, super difficult and whatnot.
Kind of this blue carpet setup, it really reminds me of Hell Revealed 1, kind of map 1, where you have like a few of those fights, the pinky fight where you have on the computer consoles, and then later on, kind of a room like this. But did you play any HR?
Oh yeah, I definitely played it when it came out. I didn't play it all the way through. The only people that I knew of that played Hell Revealed 1 and 2 all the way through was my dad. Like he played a lot of Doom maps and whatever, and I just pointed him at like this is what people are making, and he started playing a lot of Doom. He played Wolfenstein on our like old 286 when we first got it, and then I was like, well, Doom is the next one, and he started playing that. And he's also the only person I know of that played an entirety of a like a collection CD of WADs.
Like the entirety of like a D Zone or a Max Doom?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got this one CD from what was it? This one CD from like a pharmacy near me called Doom Heaven, and it contained a bunch of shareware and like some utilities and stuff, but it contained like 2,000 WADs, like that was like ripped from CD-ROM.com. And like there were a handful of Doom 2 maps, but it was mostly Doom 1 maps and episodes, and a lot of what you want to call it? A lot of oh yeah, and a lot of those early like classic map sets, like There's No Place Like Home and the Serenity episode, and a lot of that stuff I found through that CD-ROM. And so a lot of like and Yak World, a lot of like the really old WADs that like people remember fondly. That was like since I didn't have internet at the time, that was my gateway to the Doom modding scene way back when. And my dad is the only person I know of because it came with like a utility called Doom Launcher, and like it already knew how to map itself to the CD for playing all of the maps and everything. So he ended up playing every last WAD that was on the CD all the way through, and yeah, he's the only person I know of that did it. It's crazy. I don't think they have Doom Heaven 1 up on WAD Archive, but I guess if there was the guy who runs it, his name Hamish something, so like I gotta send him like the CD, or at least like all the hashes of what is shared by the CD that's on WAD Archive. Oh, and yeah, we got to talk about this crappy status screen.
Yeah, the mirrored version of the TNT status screen.
which is still ripping off of TNT, and that black background at the top is not actually black; it's like the lowest shade of blue, and you could see if you like bring up your
oh yeah, you're right,
monitor
just leaning close.
Yeah, there's the titles of each map, because I didn't know how transparency worked. The titles of each map have a black background, and the top of the screen is like still bluish, so you can still see the difference in color on a screen that's bright enough. That's terrible. That's fucking awful. But yeah. Hence why I got some booze. No, I wanted to find a special occasion to. I haven't drank in a while, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, this will be fun. This will be a fun thing to do, and yeah.
I like the squiggly little lines on the left, on the right too. The little gray line and the white line.
Yeah, I tried to like. So I like tried to make like a beveled out placard thing. Oh yeah, status is completely off center. The shading on those like rivets that are on the corners are entirely inconsistent. This is just shoddy all around. It's crap. This is absolute crap.
Okay, are you sure, Tardcore? You're saying I should not pistol start? Because I was seeing that Baron in map one. I didn't have enough stuff to take it out.
Yeah, do not pistol start. These maps were made with continuous play in mind. I remember that. Like, and I believe I tested a lot of the later maps, doing IDFA before ensuring it was playable. But like I dropped so much ammo everywhere in these maps, it was a good enough approximation for how maps played. So yeah, continuous play throughout this.
Okay, continuous for sure. Hey, yeah. Flavored, hey Chillaram. Cut your messages, just so usually it tends to be.
You just joined us.
You know, when we got multiple people.
Dimensions of Time by me 21 years ago. And it was it was like a bunch of megawads were out for Doom 2, but like this had a lot of like crappy 90s music in it, and that's like why I think, it gives people a lot of nostalgia for older WADs, I guess. And if you want to see people play Hideo Kojima's newest game, Death Stranding, watch literally any other Twitch channel. Because I'm sure everybody's streaming it.
I forgot that did come out today, because I was seeing tweets, and like every second one was Death Stranding. So it's like, I'll see if I go and pay the $80 on that, but I don't know if I'm into that. pretty gameplay oriented. Ooh, we got Commander Keen. We have a
Yeah,
puzzle.
there's nothing special about killing all of them though, except to get 100% kills. I wanted to like make something special happen, and you actually can because any sector that's that has the tag 666, when you kill every Commander Keen on a map, will open like a door. So, yeah, I didn't have the knowledge to do all of that. I knew it happened on map 32 at least, but I didn't know it happened on every map. But yeah, it happened.
That first area kind of reminds me in Dark Forces, the Imperial City puzzle, where you're just going around and you have little sections that you have to keep opening up. Or you fight Boba Fett.
Yeah. So like, yeah, what I've heard about Death Stranding was like, a certain group of people will like it. Like if all you like is like planning, like it's very much a you're a delivery boy kind of game. And if you like planning routes and everything, you got trapped. If you're like planning routes and everything, and lots of like long cinematic story stuff, and it's kind of like zen in that way that you're like playing a game. It's the best, almost literal walking simulator you could ever play. But yeah, like people are looking for like something more like Metal Gear are going to be disappointed because there's combat, but it doesn't pop up very often. I hear, and the long bits of story kind of like break up pacing. It's like it's very much a Kojima without an editor, and yeah, that's the general synopsis. But I mean, there are definitely people out there that like that sort of thing, so it's going to be very polarizing. I'm going to wait for it to come out on PC, because I feel like people helping you out, like kind of like Dark Souls, how people kind of interact with other people who have been there before in the session, is also kind of like the point of the game. So yeah, I don't have like PlayStation Live membership, so I'd have to maybe like wait for the PC version, which is I think coming out next year.
We've had a number of games where we've had to kind of just wait a while for versions, and then on top of that, with like the Epic Store, you don't even know if you're gonna get it on your launcher of choice. Looking at like Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really matter to me much. The only time it really matters is like I have like a computer in my living room that's like automatically set to go into Steam Big Picture mode. So I like use it. I just like navigate everything by controller. But I'd have to rig something up to be like going to like Epic Store or Steam, and that's going to be the only hassle. But meh, it's not that huge of an issue. I can deal. I've got money and a versatile computer machine. I could deal. I don't really care about platform exclusivity, unless it's like EA's garbage platform or any other thing like that. Like, remember EA Origin? Is that still around?
I think yes, it is.
I think they're publishing to Steam finally, because like EA's like, okay, look, nobody's using this.
Oh, if you go fast enough, yeah.
Yeah, if you go fast enough, you can go through and then like open that door from the other side. So a lot of this, actually, this WAD has kind of been built with co-op in mind, because I used to play a lot of co-op with a couple of friends, and I made sure that every map was completable by more than one player. So like if a player got like locked into an area, another player could like open up like the trap and free the other player. And also like if the player like died in that area, another player would be able to get in. So yeah, there's a little bit of just a tiny bit of making sure that that's a possibility.
And there's some higher thinking going on, because I feel like sometimes when we get into like the era we are in Doom mapping, there's like, I don't know, people almost think it's being solved. There's like a way to do things.
Well, I mean, at this stage in the map making game, there's there's like we've had enough. We had plenty of time to figure out what works and what doesn't work. At least in terms of like not just like what people enjoy playing, but like I mean in terms of what is it? In terms of how to maybe make the player engaged in how to play, and I don't know. My whole spiel is players should always be thinking
I know.
at all times, and that is a you know that helps the player. You know, if the player has to constantly assess how to figure out what's the greatest threat, how do I deal with every situation, they're going to, you know, if they get through it, they feel accomplished, rather than, oh man, there was a whole bunch of shit in my way. Thank God I got through that, and I don't have to deal with that anymore. Like you don't want the player to feel like their time's being wasted, which is very hard to do. But I don't know. Years and years later, you either the community around playing what you make kind of coalesces around some kind of gameplay style, or what happens is you know, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, there's definitely a science and there's definitely an art. The science is figuring out what works and doesn't objectively, and then the art is seeing how to put together all of those elements into something engaging. And yeah, or just tweaking the model and seeing if what other people like, because that is that's always something to figure out. You know, people think they know what they want or would enjoy, and they're usually wrong. So you have to always try new things. And I'm glad people are still trying new things, and that they will always have an audience.
You gotta pull a fast one on me to put me in a room with two barons. I can't make the quick escape, but you stick me in there for 30 seconds. Just, you're evil.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think that's a 30-second room. I think that's like that switch raises the bars, but like in that electric chair room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That switch raises the bars, but yeah, each line around the chair closes them again, so that's why the switch is repeatable.
I don't think your prison has enough stimulus for the demons.
No, it's yeah. I mean, it's a prison, man. They're locked up because they've been naughty. Okay. Satanic Chapel. I love this one.
Yo, what's up, Count? Hey, Biosage, thanks for the 53 months. Ah, cool. We got our first little pentagram.
Yeah.
Can we open that? No, we can't.
Nope. Nah. What kind of map would it be if you could immediately go in the first door you see?
I got so much room to move in all the trees. Just a forest of trees.
Yeah. There's definitely some sector art, some what the kids call doom cute these days. Like what is it? If something is like, you know, art made with like doom geometry and whatever is considered to be doom cute. Like if somebody makes like what looks like a, you know, like a television or like a Super Nintendo in like sectors, that's like the term that they're using these days. Doom cute.
Hashtag cute.
Yeah, hashtag doom cute. There's definitely some authors like I'd say like Moldy, Syria Karis, and who else? The guys that made Kama Sutra, Gusta and I forgot the other guy. But yeah, they was it Adolf Voida and Gusta, or are they the same guy? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, they're purveyors of Doom Cute. They make a lot of stuff with Doom map art, and you also get a lot of that, but in a different way in the Japanese community project, the JPCP. and that's always interesting to see, like
Like-
how, yeah.
Well, you got that Kurashiki map with the mini map is just all fruits and like vegetables, and it's not like in maybe made with objects, but just mini map jokes. The one with the comic book and the Revenant.
Yeah, like I mean, like that's, I feel like that's also like very it's also a very cultural thing. Like it's very specific to, I would say like Japanese authors and designers, because like it feels like there's always like an artistic, like every medium you work in, they have the capacity to find art in it, like with like cooking or like video game stuff or what have you. And then like you get like the Russian Doom scene where it's like a lot of maps are very brutalist architecture and very structured and stuff like that. But like and the Japanese maps are kind of what is it, like kind of cramped in a weird way. Like they're very claustrophobic. But and it's like I wonder how much of that is like influenced by how like they're in the environment that they live in, and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, this one's a little bit of a little bit shitty. One of those bars in those like cells there, you can walk through, and that's how you proceed.
Just one sec, my brother was sending me a text.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's at some point you have to like figure out how to like walk through those bars. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? All roughly 50 of you looking at the stream.
Yeah, are you watching many streams these days?
Me?
Or
Let me think. I don't know. Usually I'll like if I watch like just for like maybe some noise. People that like sometimes like live stream, but then they like upload it to YouTube, like with all like their highlights and stuff shoved in there. I don't know. You know what? There's one guy that does streaming, but I really like his editing style and like he's just like overall funny. There's like this guy named Steph, and he does D's Nuts Gaming, DSNUTZ Gaming, and he's the guy who did like kind of Dark Souls Virgin beat Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3 or what is it, or Sekiro and stuff like that. But he's like really funny, and I want to see him do more stuff. He's relatively young too, like he's in his like mid-20s, but like so he's like, you know, finishing up I don't know, I think he's like finishing up college, or he's like still like still a youngin', but he's but I really like his style, and I hope more people watch him. And then like every once in a while, like, you know, the guy, the only person in like say like the Smash Brothers scene that I actually watch is Alpha Rad. and he's entertaining. He and his friends are entertaining to watch. So I don't know. I'm not too much into like watching lots of streamers and whatnot, like live on Twitch, but I don't know. There's always something to watch out there, and it's just everything wants your time, and you only have so much time to give. And I don't know. I'm busy in my free time too. So like yeah, it's just finding time to enjoy myself. I don't know. Got to do that more. Gotta like, but it's like if you allocate time to enjoy yourself, then it starts feeling like work, you know?
got a beautiful red door here, not quite centered.
Yeah, it's not quite centered because that's intentional. That line is over there for like, I don't know, to put the key in. It's a door. Looks like a door.
A door to get another key.
Yeah. And then yeah. Yeah, you're a madman playing with 3% health there. So you have to go through one of those like cell bars. You don't have to kill the barons that are like in there.
Okay, that's a nasty trap there with the 2 barons because you don't got any room to move.
There is a place to what is it? There is a place to stand in that room to avoid all of it, and it's like right near. It's like that right corner, like right near the fountain. That's like up against the wall. That has the Baron area.
Ah, okay, yeah. If you hang out right here.
Yeah. That's right, man. I know all the tips and tricks around my really early maps. I was super proud of this, man. Like I was like really like I was only like 13 when I made this, and I felt like, yes, I've conquered Doom. I've done it. I've made something awesome. And you know what? I think at the time, yeah, to my credit, I did. But of course, these maps are crap compared to the maps I make today. So I don't know. It's like I had a conversation with a friend earlier this week and we were talking about like work and stuff and that sort of thing. And what I said about work was you are not your work. It is through you that work is possible. Like when we were talking about like unemployment and feeling like unproductive and like what that means for your identity. But then like in that vein, I said like your work is also a snapshot of who you are and what you know and what your experience is. So yeah, you're not your work, but your work is definitely you at a particular moment in your life. So what happens like when you look back at your work, you're going to be like, oh, that was crap. But you should also assess, is this good for what I could have done at the time? And usually, and I hope people find that the answer is yes. It is the best of your ability at that particular time. And then as long as what you make is the best of your ability at that time, then you're always going to improve, or you're always going to feel like you've improved. And yeah. That's the gist. So what you're looking at is me at 13, really, and just trying to make something good. And since I was using Deep, that editor, and the shareware version, I was limited to 800 line defs and 1200 side defs. The registered version you could do everything, but I did. I only used the limit, and I tried to make as best a map I could in those limits, and I think I succeeded. Like, they're not too long, they're not too short, and they have enough detail in there to be, I guess, interesting. So I'd made the best with made the best with what I had, and I think that's actually helped me in a way figure out how to work within limitation, and which I think is something sorely needed now that we have like all these tools that are easy to use, and all these, like, I'm not faulting like people that like make stuff today and like I'm doing that like old person like, oh, kids these days don't know how good they have it, but like, I mean, it like but the Yeah, flavored favor says the first hipster. Yeah. So so the putting on my hipster glasses, drinking my craft beer. Soon I'll wear flannel and suspenders, and sport like a big lumberjack beard. So and live in Brooklyn. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I feel like with computers the way they are and the near limitless amount of computing and resources at our disposal, you don't get very many people trying to like make the smallest programs unless it's like a challenge of some sort. But like there's definitely a value in learning how to like compress your data or even your gameplay loop or your design such that like all the small elements shine and all the important stuff still remains. So I don't know. There's a misconception out there. I feel that if people had like all the tools and all the power at their disposal, they can make something amazing, which is patently false. You can give somebody the world, and they may not know how to use it.
You might not know where to start. I don't know. It's kind of like when you see a lot
choice
of
paralysis.
Carmack interviews these days where he talks about Moore's law and how computing is now, and just being able to throw power to solve problems instead of, as you said, like making an efficient program. Is you can just take advantage of the computers we have and they'll do it, but then you get to a point where it's everything's just so inefficient.
Yeah, the people think that they're going to worry about efficiency when they finally hit the walls of their medium, and that is, it's not always going to be the case, especially when you have people that neglect their own building of their own skills. So limitation is a way to figure out how to do something effectively in a smaller space. And I know that there's like contests where you're constrained by time or a certain like older platform, or like even like you see like the demo scene doing those like 4K or 64K contests, and seeing how cool they can make something in a very, very tiny program, and they have contests for like presentation. I think it's in that one Mancubus that's totally stuck. I'm not going back and patching that. So there's definitely an exploration of a limited medium, but I think it's only within the confines of a challenge rather than self-improvement. And it's kind of a shame. Like you can't really convince people that limiting themselves will actually help them produce better things, and or give them like a frame of reference for when they have all those resources at their disposal, that they actually feel like the sky is their limit. So it is what it is. It's like I try to tell people, like, if you make things perform really well in like smaller programs or whatever, you could do more shit in your games if you care about your algorithms and you care about your data footprint and all that other stuff. But like they're gonna be like, you weirdo programmer, you don't know shit. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, I may be mischaracterizing a bunch of people that like are in those creative spaces, but I feel like that's, some people are designers first and tech people second, and that's fine because it's an entirely different set of skills. But you should learn a lot more about how to effectively use your medium or experiment in your medium in order to figure out the best way to do things in it.
We use constraints for not only competing for pretty much anything you do, like when you were a kid going to school or you're doing sports, is we don't give you the everything in chemistry or physics at once, is you're just doing a chapter at a time or a few problems and drilling that out. Or in like when I was doing hockey, is you do say crossover drills and you wouldn't even touch the puck, you wouldn't have a stick in your hand.
Yeah. Will you flip that damn switch already? It's driving me up a wall.
I
How do you
don't-
like the boat? And the docks?
it's very square.
Sorry, I'm getting impatient.
It's I made it was a boat in like grade 1 or grade 2, and you can imagine it like the person who makes their first map as they're doing their magnum opus. And I tried to do this with this boat made out of Lego, and it was so much bigger than like everyone else's who had there, and there was probably like a lot more work put into it. But the second it got put into the water to test it out, it just sunk.
Oh no.
My pride.
But hey, you learned a valuable lesson, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's not a total loss. We always take away take away from our experiences something, especially our failures. And I pity those who fail and don't learn from the failure. But here we are learning from failure, and that's more important.
Big Mac Davis? I'm afraid not. I don't know what Big Mac's been up to. He's so the Doom 2 25th anniversary was it 2 months ago? But I spotted him doing a stream on that, and it's like part 4. And he's like at Tenement, so his Doom 25th anniversary, it's gonna prolong and be like the 26th by the time it's done.
I was gonna say, is it gonna take 25 years? I don't know the guy. I shouldn't say shit. Yeah.
Another.
Oh yeah, secret BFG. Yeah, there's only BFGs in secret areas in this entire megawad. So hey, there you go. It's a little treat. You got yourself a BFG.
600 ammo, so now I'm definitely not gonna play Pistol Start.
Yeah, this is not a bad. It'd be bad to pistol start all these maps. Although, I mean, this is like also a megawad that people have done speed running on a lot, and because like I saw like all the demos. I need to like maybe replay the demos that are on the speed demos archive for Doom, and yeah, there's a lot for Dimensions of Time because I mean, the difficulty is not terrible, so you can definitely run through a lot of maps without like needing to kill anything. But yeah, you're definitely imposing a greater challenge on yourself if you pistol start all of these maps. But yeah, it's should be fun. Should be fun to watch. I have not done that.
Did you spot some on the Doom Speed Demos channel? You just saw some come up?
No, not on the channel. I just like go to the website that has like it's just basically like the archives of people when they submit demos for each like patch WAD or commercial WAD. They have just like all of them zipped up by contributor or by whatever. It's Doom was it doomedsda.us, whatever that website is.
Yeah.
So right. So
there's not like a wall I have to open.
no, that you just go in that teleporter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. No, it's not BFG edition. It's a source port called GZ Doom. If it was BFG edition, you could tell right away by the medkits, because they have pills on them that are red crosses.
Yeah, the Red Cross. according to the Geneva Convention, using the Red Cross on something that is not, owned by the Red Cross or something is like either illegal or I don't know, something that sort of thing. I don't know if it's Geneva Convention or just the Red Cross doesn't like it, but yeah, it's a trademark of a non-profit organization, so whatever. So everybody's got to come up with creative ways to say things that give health. Usually people use like hearts, or even like the caduceus symbol, like the medical symbols are like the snakes entwining that scepter, or I think it's like the actual one is like one snake around a scepter. And then there's like the medical cross, which is like the three lines arranged in like that sort of thing. I don't know.
Or like a
I don't
different
know what
color
they-
cross I've seen.
Yeah. So
It's the green cross in the UAC bases.
yeah, if you just make it green, there you go. You're done. You circumvented the rules. And it's still a cross, and everyone's like, oh, this must be helping.
Yeah, there are some sound changes, so yeah, PSX shotgun sound, I think.
Oh, the PlayStation version of Doom used a completely different sound set, I think.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
The what is it? Doom 64 used that same sound set. It was I think designed by the same guy. So like a lot of stuff in Doom 64, which was I think made by Midway, and I think the PSX version was probably made by Midway as well. And that was they had a completely different sound set, because I don't know whether it was like a licensing problem, because it shouldn't have been a licensing problem, because a lot of Doom's sounds came from this collection which I own called which I own legally, and that was a little pricey, called the Sound Ideas General 6000, and they have a licensing clause in there that says this is a royalty-free sound collection. If you use this for any purpose, you do not have to pay royalties for their use, and that's great. That's handy. So really, you paid for like an all-purpose use license, and you get like a whole lot of sound samples and stuff. And yeah, you'll hear a lot of sounds made their way into Square and whatever. Of course, there's like quite a bit of editing, and then a lot of the vocals. There's a lot of vocals by me and Rot King and what have you. Oh, and I also used I also got the Hollywood Edge Volume 1, and that has a lot of sounds that you've definitely heard in movies and video games, because they're like really, really good sound samples.
What is it? Was this a 3-key room? I'm trying to search around for a method to get that megasphere, but I'm having no luck.
There is a lift that lowers in the main area via a switch. You can like kind of use that to do some acrobatics.
Let me try this. Here. Oh, you could probably do this, right? No.
The ceiling's too low, but that switch that you did flip lowers a different lift, and it is in the same area.
Can just get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Awesome.
Ta-da.
Oh, we hit the blue door. What'd we do?
Oh, Avenge 132. When I say I own it, I mean like I own a copy of the whole collection. That I paid for it. You could, I mean, like they're available for purchase. The whole Sound Ideas library. So like yeah, they have like tons of different libraries, but the General is like their biggest collection. It's pricey. It's about like I think I got it when it was on sale, 50% off. They do that around the holiday season, so check out soundideas.com, sound-ideas.com, and they usually have promotional sales around late November and December at like 50% off, like some of their sound sample collections. So yeah, I got the version that was what is it, 24-bit floating point sounds on a they give you a portable hard drive with all of the sounds on it, and before I got that version that has like everything on it, I bought the 20, is it 20 CDs? It's either 20 or 40 CDs of like the regular General 6000, and I just rip all the CDs and I save them to and I encode them as FLAC, something lossless, and I shove them onto a hard drive, so I have like the whole thing, and I can like, you know, recall it without putting in CDs. But when I got like the hard drive version, I also like compressed them because they're huge files, because they're all waves, and then I just like manage all that stuff. No, I definitely do not curate the library. I do not work for Sound Ideas. That would be a cool job though. Like,
I don't even
like
need that key.
Recording stuff and whatever. But yeah. So like, yeah, you only need 2 keys. You can get through the exit with 2 keys there.
Is that intentional?
I don't remember. I absolutely don't remember if that's intentional or not. But clearly I was fine with it.
Okay, blur artifact off the start here. But yeah, it looks like a lot of kind of series of bases that you're going for is, even if you're starting from the outside area, then going into a main base. I don't know, I guess the prison had the courtyard.
Yeah. The themes do change throughout this WAD. So you're gonna see a lot of like shiny stuff for like the future. And yeah.
Whereas the start here is kind of metal, and this looks like kind of Icarus-ish.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely played Icarus around this time. Well, Icarus came out in 1996, right? That was Team TNT's, one of Team TNT's first like major releases.
The 96 or 95?
It was either 95 or 90. It was around there. I'll quickly check. Icarus.
They had that, the deathmatch, Daedalus
all
later on.
Yeah, Daedalus was for a very early version of Zedu that still supported Decorate and that sort of thing. Let's see, Team TNT. Icarus came out in 1996. That was their first major release. And then Final Doom came out a little bit later in the same year, I think. And yeah.
Or was it TNT was prepared for 95, but then with Final Doom it wasn't completed until 96 maybe?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I think Final Doom was like released in 1996. Was made for 1995, and I think like working on that either delayed Icarus or whatever. All I remember is that I was in I think 6th grade when that came out. I was definitely in middle school, and I remember talking to a friend about it. I was like, "Whoa, this is really good. You gotta play it." So yeah, fun times. And I remember that I submitted the first 6 maps of Dimensions of Time to Team TNT in a bid to maybe.
You thought you could
maybe
maybe get on the team.
Yeah, I think I talked about this in the Evolution of the WAD with Captain Clever, but I'll definitely repeat it here because, I mean, it's not a crazy story. I forget who I was in contact with. It was either Mustaine or Halderman. I don't think it was Ty Halderman, but may he rest in peace. But yeah, I forget who I was who I was in contact with, and I was like, hey, here's some maps, and they were like, we're noticing that map 01 here looks suspiciously like TNT Evolution. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about that shit. So what do you think? They're like, well, a lot of the stuff is misaligned, and we're looking for a certain quality to our maps. Like, I don't remember the exact emails. I completely lost it because I used to save them, but I have no idea where they are now. Probably like on a computer that I lost in a flood or something. So yeah, so the whole gist was yeah, these maps, you know, there may not be up to the quality standards we're looking for, and you're in school, so you know, maybe, you know, if you should concentrate on your schoolwork and stuff, and whatever, we'll see what goes on later, or something. I don't know. It was like kind of something to that effect, because like I was like 12 at the time, and jokes on them. I'm still making Doom wads and
And we got Tom Mustang working on Fallout 76.
and Team TNT is completely dissolved. So look who's laughing now. But yeah, whatever. Everything's great. Oh, I just caught that Vulcan 280 just said Mtrop has a good voice for doing infomercials. Well, if you act now, you can get the rest of Dimensions of Time for only $9.95. Oh boy.
There we are. I think I missed the key in both rooms.
Oh,
no.
Your stream. I think your stream locked up on my side. Hold on a second. All right, cool. Yeah. So I'm still good. I'm still good here.
Oh, you really love deathmatch and capture the flag? Do you do any Zandronum? Because sometimes on stream here we get a setup where we just get as many people as we can and we just get some matches going when I can.
I'm pretty surprised that CTF is now getting quite a bit of play out on the multiplayer scenes. Like, I know that there's a Discord server that's there for a whole lot of people that just play like Doom Deathmatch, and I'm surprised that CTF has such a prominent it's like a game mode that people like really take seriously, and it's cool to watch, because like I would think that, like, you know, just regular deathmatch or one-on-ones or duels or whatever, but like people are now like, fucking CTF is a thing. So yeah. Oh, going through these teleporters is a giant pain, because you have to like keep cycling through them in order to get to like the next one, and then flip a switch and what have you.
Get back, do some more backtracking.
Yeah, this is not the best design in terms of maps. So yeah, teleporting finished.
Teleporting. Like 100 times.
The read out the big Bill Hell's Cards commercial. I don't know. I like the what is it? The fuck you, Baltimore. That one. Home of challenge pissing. Like what Rev Doom is talking about in the chat there.
Goldeneye.
Oh yeah, I totally use a lot of rearranged GoldenEye midis in this. Especially, I think this is Caverns. This plays on Caverns in GoldenEye. And yeah, this is played like at least 3 times in the entirety of Dimensions of Time. That's like something, you know what? It's okay to repeat music tracks, but people don't do it anymore, because we have like so much, like, you know, so much music resources out there and so much like music talent. I mean, like, they repeated music in the iWads. That's what, you know what? That's, I think, was my benchmark for, am I making something cool or whatever. Like, would this be in a Doom iWad? It's like I would like look at the maps in the editor, and it's like, would this be something that would be in Doom or whatever? Or would the layout look right? And that was kind of like my benchmark for, did I make something decent? Because like I wasn't very much on the internet at the time, and or talking to any like Doom bulletin boards or whatever. I started like looking or reading the Doom World forums around like 1999 or whatever, but I didn't really officially join until like 2005. And that was around the time where I made like a crappy version of my Java Doom library. But the better version is like out now, and I'm super proud of it because it's like, I don't know, many years later, I'm way more experienced at programming, and everything is way better now. But yeah. So like, anyways, I mimicked kind of like how, id like reused music and stuff throughout. Like I used that as like kind of a barometer of what was okay in terms of making stuff, just because I didn't really have too much of a frame of reference other than what else I was playing at the time. Like a lot of my like early influences, or like people that not so much influences, but like who inspired me was like all these old names. Dr. Sleep, also making rest in peace. Dr. Sleep, John Anderson, and also who else? Bjorn Hermans, Holger Nothroth, and of Serenity, Eternity, and Infinity, and who else? All the members of the Alpha Dog Alliance that made like Strain. They were like my early, very very early inspirations in terms of like mapping and whatever. And I was just like I was hoping that I at least made something that I could be proud of, but also maybe get it close up to their standards. But of course, I wasn't that skilled at the time, and I don't know. I still think I made something great for the time. To go back to that earlier conversation about your work as a snapshot of who you are. Really. So yeah. Oh, and like this WAD isn't devoid of tricks with sectors and stuff. Those windows, you can't shoot through them.
Yeah, I noticed that on the paint alley.
Yeah, and then there's a switch that opens them, and it's because I abuse the fact that if you have like a completely like I have a sector that has like a small space in it, you can still see through it if it has no lower textures, if the floor is above the player's sight. So yeah, that's one trick. And then I know I do a auto, like a quick rise trick. Like if you lower a floor and you don't put like any lower textures around like the hole, so it looks like it's just a flat floor. But then like you lower the floor to the next highest floor, and it just jumps right to the top. And like you put monsters down there, and they just suddenly appear, and you're like, what the fuck? They do that a lot in like Requiem. So like this, so like that has to be something that you have to like do your little like flexing. Especially when I was a kid, I was just like, these maps are kind of like not very detailed, but you know what? I'm gonna still show them I have like mapping chops in terms of like tricks.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Claybone's an imposter in SC2. It must have been on. Was it on European servers or something else? And also to Vulcan is for Doom mappers passing away. Is I think it's like everyone, like you get into that belief that when everyone was playing they're in their 20s or something like that, but like I think Ty and Dr. Sleep they were both 40s, likely when Doom 1 came out, so they did
Dr.
pass
Sleep
away
was, like, in their late 30s, although like I think Dr. Sleep died. Did he die young? No, he was like in his hey, let me look him up on Ye Olde Doom Wiki. Not the one on fandom, not the one that was Wikia, but like the real one, doomwiki.org. Let's see, let's look up doctors. Dr. Sleep, John W. Anderson, aka Dr. Sleep, born on November 7th, 1956. So he died in April of 2018. Pneumonia. Oh, that fucking sucks. But let's see, let's do a little quick math here. 2018
minus 62.
1956. Yep, 62. You got it. You got it, Dime. You win a prize.
Heck yeah. But yeah, still young, but I'd say, you know, a little bit older. It's not like they were 35 or 40.
No,
That's
like
not
the I mean, Dr. Sleep made a map for episode 4 of Ultimate Doom, I think. Either Ultimate Doom or Doom 2. I think Ultimate Doom. Let me see. Shit. Oh yeah. He made a map called Chiron, Chiron, and that became E4M7, and Hell Followed in the Ultimate Doom. So yeah, Dr. Sleep has a map in a internal WAD, a commercial iWAD. So there you go. He's immortalized. And like I think he had like, didn't he have like some master levels maps? Hold on a second. Yeah, next 5
I
levels.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, and included the master levels: Virgil's Lead, Minos's Judgment, Nessus, Gurion, and Vesperus. Yeah. So he's also he wasn't the only person that did like the crisscross lights, but he's definitely known for it. And that sort of tradition is carried on by Bjorn Hermans and other mappers around that time. So yeah, I forget who did like the original like crisscross lights. I know. You know what? A person who definitely takes after Dr. Sleep's design is Paul Corfiatis, P-Corf. He's definitely I would say an acolyte of Dr. Sleep, and a lot of his maps emulate that style pretty well. And he was a very prolific mapper. Every once in a while, he releases something pretty cool. Also. No Calorie Pepsi in the chat asks, Mtrop, how hard was mapping back in the day before Doom Builder and stuff like that that was streamlined at all? Or that streamlined at all? Well, back in the day, it was kind of like a wild west of people trying to make money making like Doom utilities, because Doom was like a really, really, really popular game. And so it was really lucrative to make editors that you could pay for and stuff like that. So you'd get editors that were like designed really well, like Doom Ed for Windows, and Deep Sea, as like weird as it is for like, you know, they're just like a paid version of it, but or I don't know if it's around anymore because Doom Builder basically ate its lunch completely. But yeah, I think the best editors out there were WAD Author. In the Windows era, it was WAD Author, DoomEd, and Deep, or Deep Sea or whatever. And in the DOS days, Deep, DEU. Deep and I think either DCK or DEU were the main editors. Oh no, Death was also a editor. DETH, Doom Editing, something. I forget the. But
You got a good memory for all this stuff, because I did the research for it when we were doing TNT, because that seemed like even a better time than Plutonian. It's like, oh, now you're reminding me of all the editors, but it's like they were just gone from my head, and I'm like, oh, I know that one. I was doing the research on it.
The absolute worst editor I've ever used in my entire life was DoomCAD. And DoomCAD was garbage. And DoomCAD was like, you know how like editors these days is like, oh, you could draw, and you draw like the sectors, and it immediately puts in all the vertices and the lines, and then makes a sector from what you drew. DoomCAD was very, very programmery, and only a programmer could have made it, or somebody who like absolutely lacks UI design chops. So it was, you had to place the vertices first, and then you had to make the lines that connected the vertices, and then you had to select the lines and then say make a sector from these lines. It was so painfully bad that I was just like, there have to be better editors, and there were, and they were on this. So I got my start in Doom editing and using Doom editing utilities from this book called the Doom Hacker's Guide. and it was a book, a big thick book written by like this guy named Hank Lukert, and he also had like compiled like a CD of like some popular WADs that were made using the editors that he put on the CD, and like some example deathmatch maps and whatever. And a very large chapter of the book was describing how to use DEU. I think it was the editor that was kind of like highlighted in it, and like the concepts like what dummy sectors are and other things like how to make doors, rising stairs, and like basic tutorials and stuff. And also had like sections on like enumerations on like what all the different resources in the Doom IWAD were like, and kind of like sourced from the unofficial Doom FAQ made by what's his name, Matt something, the unofficial Doom FAQ. Who made that? Scooby Dooby Doo. Hank Lukert. Unofficial. He became a professional author in Hacker's Guide. Oh, he made one map called Hank's Lair. Hank Lukert. Holy shit! I gotta play that. I haven't never. Oh, it's a deathmatch map. Ah, fuck it. Let's go. You know what? Back in the day, you know how people like start knocking on slaughter maps for being like kind of like the cop out like single player map, which I hear I unfortunately revitalized with Familiar Mini. But like slaughter maps, how like since like the single player experience is now like the de facto way that people are playing Doom today because of like there's more like single player centric things going on. What is it? The cop out map style back in the day was deathmatch map because a lot of people played deathmatch and people wanted to make like deathmatch maps. But in a deathmatch map, you don't have to place monsters. You don't have to care about like map design in terms of like player gameplay. You just had to make an interesting layout for other players to kill each other in, and that was kind of seen as the cop out map style rather than slaughter maps these days, because slaughter maps still have like that laziness of just put tons of monsters in everywhere, which was like how everybody made their first map, like throwing discretion to the wind in making all sorts of layouts with filling it with monsters and things to just kill and blow up and whatever. But but I mean, like there's a right way to make a deathmatch map. There's a right way to make a slaughter map, or at least a fun way to make them. And you'll always be able to tell where effort has been put into the maps that you play. So yeah.
It's unfortunate with sorry, I was just gonna go on is with deathmatch maps is there was like some that were made, I think it was like Gothic DM, where like people could hardly play it on their computers. And then kind of later on, just as things shift and you learn new, say, mechanics about deathmatches, a lot of them were just completely left behind. Whereas I find older single player stuff still has like a bit of a legacy, but the DMs, when we saw like Tarns going through, say, Maxi Doom, like every time you get to a deathmatch map, it's like, well, that's cool. We'll skip to the next one now.
Yeah. That and you get tons of deathmatch maps in those like collections because like a whole lot of people like just made them. Also, to follow up, no calorie Pepsi. No, I did not work on TNT at all. I tried out for TNT. I didn't get in, but I still say I won out in the long run.
Hey, you did better than me, is at least you're getting some responses. I sent a message to Tom Mustang on his Twitter asking if I could like talk to him about TNT when I was going to do my GDQ run, and I got ghosted.
Wow.
He ghosted
Too
me.
good for Tom Mustang. Too good for
too good for TNT. He wants to
Oh,
ignore it.
Oh man. Although it's cool that like everybody back then like kind of found jobs in the the video game industry. Dario Casali, one of the guys that made Plutonia, is I think still senior level designer at Valve. Ika Kiranen, I think Fingers, who is also a very very prominent author, Doom and Quake. I think I don't know if he still works at Valve, but he definitely did at some point. And who else? Milo Casali was like I forget. I think he like worked on some other games, like either for like Ritual or other companies. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what a senior level designer does at Valve these days, Clay Bones.
Makes Dota cosmetics. I don't know.
Yeah, they're working on if Dota maps work well, and then they make a new map, and I bet everybody in Dota's like, "What the fuck? I don't want to have to learn a new map." So, whatever. Hopefully Valve's gonna make a game sooner or later. I think Portal 2 was like their last big. No, not Portal 2. Left 4 Dead. It was either Left 4 Dead 2 or Portal 2 was like their last big thing that isn't like kind of like a reappropriation of another IP or whatever. I don't know. The Ice Frog, the guy who made Dota, works for them now. So hey, you know what? At least they're hiring talent.
Yeah. But Blizzard must have been so pissed off in just letting Dota slip away through their fingers.
Oh man, like Activision probably Activision Blizzard probably super pissed, like, oh no, all that money. But yeah, people forget that Dota started as Defense of the Ancients for Warcraft 3. It was a Warcraft 3 map that got so huge. That's nuts to me. It was a single map with like all the gameplay elements programmed in because the Warcraft 3 was flexible enough for you to do that. And it was just so crazy that like a single map could blow up so big,
like as someone who played the game religiously for years, is how in StarCraft and Warcraft 3 is, I think it just had the system where you'd have the auto refresh, whereas like StarCraft 2 is you have all the maps in a listing and it kind of just goes by popularity. But for like Warcraft 3, you're not just going to see the top entries. So Dota would take up like half of everything on the list. You'd get a refresh and you'd see like out of 20 different entries, like 10 of them would be Dota. Everybody was playing it, and it was more popular than the online ladder. I'm pretty sure about that. There would have been more playing Dota at any time than ladder.
Yeah. Oh, Spud Hunter says, now all that's left. There's like all the talent moved to Valve at one point. Now all that's left are used car salesmen working at Valve. Fuck you, Baltimore.
Did you spot the Spud Hunter at QuakeCon? Because I'm pretty sure he came down.
There?
Yes.
Wait, yeah.
Yes.
I think I remember somebody calling themselves the Spud Hunter. Wait, is that the guy? That's not the guy in the mask. Is that the guy in the mask?
That's the guy in the mask.
Yeah, I saw him. I don't think I met him personally. Or if I did, I didn't know he was the guy behind the mask. But yeah, I definitely saw him up with I think it was Jahar, right? Doing commentary at the commentary section. Yeah, definitely saw him.
Jahar was running around day one with his ring light, and he came by the blood booth, the New Bloods, and he said hi to everyone, which was great. But I was disappointed I didn't get to see Spud. But I think Matt can attest is a very stressful weekend.
Oh yeah, like you had a lot to do for QuakeCon and stuff, doing all the speed running stuff, and like what is it? Yo, I was so glad we were all around to see Devastation just sweep all the Doom categories. That's insane. He started walking around with all 3 of those QuakeCon medals around his neck. It was great.
Did him and J-Kiss meet in the finals for Duel?
Oh yeah. It was him and Jay Kist in like the finals in Duel. They were both put on a team, if you remember, for like the 2-on-2s. They just ate everybody alive.
Oh yeah, and I was listening to the 2 guys they were playing against in the finals, and I found this pretty funny. But they were talking to Devastation and J-Kiss, and they were saying, "So yeah, like I think I figured it out, but like Strafe makes you move faster, right?" Devastation's just nodding. Yeah, yep.
I gotta contact Jhar at some point and just be like, hey, could I be on your Mappers Mark thing that you do? Did you catch the one with Zazer?
I've seen the one with
Zazer's
Zazer, the one with Dragonfly, and Bridgeburner
Yeah.
56.
Yeah, like Dragonfly was like, yeah, he was like live via video, but like Zazer was in the room, like, cause like they both live in the same area. So Zazer was like there in person, and that was like, I think that's like the first time that the internet has probably seen Zazer in full, as he is. And I don't know, like some people are like, "What? That's not what he looks like," and I'm like, "I've known this for years. I've met him like a bunch of times."
Dude, like
But,
Zazer's so kind of reserved in sort of just kind of showing himself on the internet. I don't think I know his real name. He is Zazer.
yeah, nobody. I know his real name, but I only let him tell people his real name because, like, I'm just astonished that he's gone this long without his real name being out there on the internet. And you know what? I'm not going to put it out there unless he puts it out there. So, yeah, definitely going to. It's part of the Zazer mystique, man. He's only known as Zazer until you learn his real name. And the weird thing is, if you do learn his real name, it still sounds fake. That's the great thing about it. It still sounds like it's a pen name. So yeah. But yeah, that's Zazer for you. He's super talented, and yeah, pretty
Awesome.
successful with
We
everything.
have a little machine that we're driving off. Oh, we got a
Yeah, man.
It's a spaceship, I guess.
It is. It's like a little shuttle, and whatnot. So you just gotta like turn it on. Just gotta go to that like little screen there.
Titanga screen.
Yeah. Go and activate it, and then you fly all the way out to the former human headquarters. Some of the names I give these fucking maps are weird. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't played to go off of Spud Hunter in the chat. Yeah, I haven't played. I gotta play some of Bridgeburner's maps. Although you know what? I always have this cynicism about good-looking maps, like they're going to play terribly, because like usually you get mappers that focus on visuals more than gameplay, and I don't know, playing many a map you do run into that a lot. But I don't know, you know what, I have to beat my own cynicism, so I have to start playing some of these maps made by contemporaries, and no, because you can't hold on to nostalgia, and you can't just follow the people that you know. Like the Doom modding community is huge. It's huge and sprawling, and it's worldwide. And I only have so much time, but I still gotta play everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. Like me myself, I'm going through the slaughter spectrum, but I'd say like I don't think Bridgeburner's mapping might be your style, but he's doing some beautiful stuff with portals, and I think the best way that we came up to describe it is it's like a hell rave. Like it literally I don't know. It feels like trance music to me. Is you just get into the zone with the music and the visuals, and it's something else.
Yeah, hell rave. That's a good phrase
Oh yeah.
to like describe that. Yeah.
He's gonna come out with a map set, and he's gonna call his next one that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, No Calorie Pepsi. So cool to have such a veteran of Doom show up for some conversation. Usually, when it comes to games as old as Doom, all the veterans are usually impossible to find online or disappeared. Some people like just view Doom as like a hobby. I mean, like I do too, but like, cause like I just want to make. Oh yeah, look at that sky. Look at that fucking. Look at that shitty sky. Oh man, so that's what the future looks like. It's got blue clouds, and it's
Blue clouds
got
with see-through stars.
yeah, and it's oh god, and those big satellite dishes because you know there's lots of communication in the future. I
Looks
forget
like
the name
it's
of
toppling over.
God, I forget the name of the program I used to make the graphics. I know I put it in the text file. Hold on, let me bring it up. One. I gotta find it. Scooby-Doo, shooby-doo-ba-doo-doo. Okay.
Do it, Nirvana, do it.
MVP Paint, I think, is the name of the program that I used. Because it was a paint program that I found that actually cared about color palettes. So you could do like stuff like gradients and whatever in a specific palette and whatever. And yeah, some of the fonts that you see for like a lot of the graphics were built into it. Not the status bar, I drew those myself, but the but like the stuff for the skill levels and the map names at the intermission, those were fonts in that program. Yeah, so I don't know. I like keeping the tradition alive of changing the skill level names. I did that for Coffee Break, and that was just like, yeah, you know, that'll be fun to do that again. Just come up with stuff like that. Like in Coffee Break, the skill levels are, it's just like, instead of saying like new game and choose your skill level, it says how do you like your coffee, and then it's like, and then like the skill levels in order are, no thanks, I like tea, light and sweet, fresh and piping hot, dark and strong, and I chew the beans. So I just wanted to keep the dream alive. Yeah. So
Yeah, thanks, Buffalax.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just hold on, scrolling through the chat here. Yeah, so like the people that kind of like disappear. Some people just make maps, or they like move on to like, you know, Quake or other stuff, or you know, Source Engine, Half-Life, and all that. But like, I don't know, Doom is still like a viable medium for like so many like cool things, and especially these days with like the upkeep people have on like source ports, or like adding editing features and whatever, and yeah, it's kind of like gone through a little bit of a maker evolution in that way, where you always get people that want to make something cool, and Doom is like hit that sweet spot of like you can make something cool in it in a short amount of time, and it scales linearly with the effort you put into things in terms of time spent. So, I forget how to get the. Oh wait, I think there's a key in this area, right? You have to like kind of figure out how to get onto. Yeah, you have to find the wall that's on the other side of that key, and then use that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a crate puzzle. Yeah. So, right. So yeah, like, but like, some people are findable either on Discord, doomworld.com, for like the forums and everything. I tend to respond to private messages on Doomworld, or on like Twitter. I'm on Twitter as well, at the real Mtrop. Harkening back to it's a parody of You know, when like Shaquille O'Neal was on Twitter, I remember he used to have the handle The Real Shaq because they didn't have like verification around at the time. So you get people saying like the real this or real that. I was just like, I was like part of like some kind of like hackathon in New York City.
This rocket ship.
Oh yeah, a rocket, Sector Rocket. That's Doom cute. And hey, someone just followed me on Twitter. And probably because of the stream. Nice. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I picked so like I was part of like a hackathon in New York City, and they had like a weird little Twitter contest. I'm like, ah shit, I guess I better get like a Twitter account. So I just put in the real Mtrop, and that's what the that's what the reference is. You know, something that has no significance anymore on Twitter because I'm an old man and I'm always a step behind. I'm an old man. I'm in my 30s and I still say I'm old.
Everyone's seen my Twitch channel. That is a difficult name to say. Sumimu Kahu 57. Oh, I can't do it. You try it.
Try it. Wait, where is it? Oh, Sumimo Kahoot 57 Zen. That's that good. I did it. I did it.
Yeah, Okada, that'd be awesome. Totally, I've been thinking of some stuff with layouts. It's just that I think with 16:9 with Doom, I'm just awesome. Here's gameplay.
Yeah. Just like we just want 100% Doom on the screen there. It could also be a bot. It could also be
Maybe. Dude, bots are too sophisticated these days, man. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, all the ones. Have you seen the ones on Twitter? Have you seen like everybody's like a Twitter like sign up names where it's like just a name and then like 8 digits afterwards? I think there's probably like some service that just like creates like shit accounts for people to like troll other people on Twitter. So like whenever I see those accounts, I just tell people like to not engage with them. It's I don't know what the hell those are, but yeah. Oh, I'm getting quite drunk. I'm like halfway through. I'm halfway through.
You're 14.3%.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Oh, what was it again?
It was oh yeah, the beer of the evening. For those of you joining now, it's the beer of the evening is by a brewery called The Brewery, but it's spelled Bruery. Contains alcohol. Whoa, no way. The name of the beer is called White Chocolate, and it is an ale aged in bourbon barrels with cacao nibs and vanilla beans, and is scrumptious. It is delicious. The brewery is actually in Orange County, Pennsylvania. No, Pennsylvania. What the fuck? California. Wow, I'm really drunk. So yeah, Orange County. There's no Orange County. You don't grow oranges in Pennsylvania. No, Orange County, California, and yeah. So I am totally a big beer drinker. I got to get more. My friend says he has tons of like leftover beer from like he does this thing where he has his own like kind of Oktoberfest, but he like buys a whole bunch of like craft beers like a couple months before it, and he just like invites a whole lot of people over and has like a little party with food and stuff. But then usually you get a beer that no one else will be able to drink because like it's like you either have one or two of the same beer at the entire party. So it's like try some things out, maybe you like it, maybe you won't like it. So it's like I don't know, big beer thing. But I just buy a lot of beer anyway, and as a huge beer snob at this point, I'm gonna start brewing at some point, and I just gotta find a time to do it. But yeah,
Gotta be something in this room over here. Did I finish Flotsam? I have not, Nirvana. Honestly, like, I found everything got kind of turned upside down as I was, like, planning to move. Because this was something that I decided since... Probably since about SGDQ. I sort of met Rivix, and it was, like, inspiration for me to move out. It's a long story, but then 2 months later I did.
Hey. Rivix. That's the guy that he does swim with the whales and a bunch of those others like slaughter maps that are like also like kind of like super cool designs in the architecture and everything.
Yeah, I don't know, he was kind of an inspiring individual to me. Very ambitious, and he knows what he wants. And I'm like, maybe I should try to, you know, take some of those characteristics for myself.
It's hard to find inspiration. It's yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like people have to be internally motivated. Mostly people that are like very internally motivated to do things, you know, end up finding success because they don't mind the failures, or like, you know, they know to learn from failure and that sort of thing. But you always gotta be careful. If you're a very internally motivated person, then it's easy to take advantage of you, because like all you have to do is like, you know, provide the means to create, and you know, I don't know where I'm going down this road. I was thinking about my previous job. Thinking about my previous job and stuff like that.
Got
yeah,
an
don't want to go
underground
too
drill
dark.
here.
Well, it's not very dark. I mean, like as a previous job, and I don't know. I'm like one of those people that like doesn't mind what he's getting paid as long as you know, I have like some like control over design and software design and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. You can only go for so long before you realize that you're not going to, you know, move ahead in whatever company you're in. So also, I don't know, I think my attitude was kind of crap in that last place, but I was younger. But now I'm at a place which is pretty good, and I like it. So yeah, know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, everybody.
Oh, what was I looking for?
I
Oh,
have no idea.
how good is Sigil?
Sigil. You know what? Here's the interesting thing about Sigil. Sigil, it was made by one of the original people that made Doom, you know, John Romero.
Yeah.
He was a super cool dude. Everybody loves John Romero. He had a very tumultuous period after, like, you know, around the Iron Storm days and whatnot. But, like, you know, he was riding high off of, like, you know, making Doom and Quake and whatever. And then he had his own shit to deal with. And then now he's just like the lovable old uncle